Hi, I'm Lara, and this is tropetrinitytrilogy, and today I'm fearless. I'm doing the fearless writer tag. I was tagged to do this by the amazing Julian Greystoke, and her video was really insightful and interesting, and I definitely think you should check it out below. She was very honest in it, and I really appreciated that. And I'm gonna try to be honest today too. And I'll sort of combine this tag with a confession about all the things that I am not saying on my channel, which is most of the things. And I honestly thought that this video would be a perfect video for me to do now that I'm getting back into writing, YouTube, and reading. And I think that this sort of honesty would be a good thing to do because generally on my channel I focus on the writing or the books or fiction, and I just don't talk about myself or feelings. Don't expect too many feelings though. So I'll be linking Julian's video down below, and I'll also be linking the two original creators of this tag, Edward Gray and Kim Chance. So all those links are down below, and let's get right into the tag. Number 1, lies. What is the biggest fallacy you're telling yourself with writing / being a writer? Before I started this channel, I was both reading regularly. I set the record in 6th grade for most books read, and I was reading tons of books that summer, and I was also writing pretty regularly. I beat the Nano the previous year within a week of it starting. However, by the time I got around to starting this channel, I was feeling both overwhelmed and apathetic. I stopped reading and writing almost entirely, and then when I did get around to doing Nano, I started writing the story, and then I ended up just writing a bunch of random angsty crap to just get words down, and also because I couldn't bring myself to write a cohesive plot, my brain wouldn't focus, so I just wrote stuff. Like, I would start the month excited, and then I would just end up meh. I felt like I shouldn't be posting videos about reading and writing because I wasn't reading or writing, so why should I be talking about it? I mean, I had a lot of backlog of experience, and I was very analytical of the fiction I did see, but still I wasn't doing it, so I didn't really think that there was a point in me posting. Like, I never posted anything that wasn't true or fake, but I also felt like it was a bit weird to say I was part of this author-tuber category when all I was really doing with my stories was thinking about them. But I kept coming back because even when I had trouble making friends in real life, I was able to make friends here. So it's kind of like I didn't really feel like I was up to the level of anyone else on here, but at least they were talking to me and we had fun conversations about something I actually liked. Until this past month when I ended up going on hiatus for the channel too, because I got to the point where I was like, well, no one cares about it anyway, what's the point in posting? So that's fun. I guess I just kind of felt mad because I would spend hours making a video and then I didn't really feel like people were watching it, so it's kind of like, what's the point? The whole point of this channel was so I could talk to other people. So if no one's watching it, then I might as well just not do it. But the reason I kept making videos even when I stopped reading and writing was because reading and especially writing takes forever to create something. Whereas making videos, I was able to create something and put it out there within a limited time, and it felt like sort of a little accomplishment, like I did something. But also, it was just fun, and I enjoyed the aspect of people talking and commenting back to me. But now I'm back, and I'm out of college, and I want to get back into what I'm passionate about. So I've been reading and writing, and I'm making videos again, and I'm hoping to do a lot more reading and videos based on that too. But also, I want to put my foot down and get back into writing just right away. And also, I've been vlogging what I'm doing as a way to sort of hold myself accountable. I don't expect anyone's going to watch the vlog, but I'm doing that to try to motivate myself. So I guess that kind of went on a tangent, but I guess that means the biggest lie I tell myself is that it's all pointless, no one cares, and I'll never amount to anything. So, that's positive. So that's like the closest thing I've ever come to a confession. I mean, I haven't lied, so it's not like lying confession, but don't talk about feelings. So that's the closest that's ever happened on this channel. Anyway, number 2, starting new. Does the first draft scare you or motivate you? So I have another thing that I would like to confess, and that is I have never finished a first draft of a novel. I have finished first drafts of short stories, and I have written like over 200,000 words of first drafts of novels. Like, I've written tons. It's just I've never gotten from beginning to end of a first draft completely. I always end up rewriting things, throwing stuff away, and that was before college, before I started outlining, and I realized that I was an outliner, but by the time I realized that, I also was apathetic and couldn't even bring myself to write, so that was fun. And it wasn't because of the outline, because I will say the chapters I did write because of the outline were really fun. I enjoyed outlining, I enjoyed writing, and I wrote a couple short stories based on outlines, and I really enjoyed that. My thing was that I just didn't have time to write, and I ended up changing my outline too, so that wasn't good. But also, I didn't quite understand story structure when I made my first outline, so it ended up being way too long, and again, I have to make an outline based on story structure, because my biggest flaw is I write too much crap that is unnecessary, so I need to limit myself during the outlining stage so I can actually finish it. Because honestly, the stories I was writing, like, I got to 50,000 words and it wasn't even like halfway to halfway. That's how much crap I was putting in that was unnecessary. I'm an extreme overwriter to the max, so I need to limit myself at that outlining phase. So though I finished first, second, third drafts of short stories, I am hoping to apply that to a grander scale and finish a novel to publish. And this inability to publish, which is why my writing advice videos aren't really writing advice. I have two types. I have trope talks, which is something that you don't have to be a writer to do. Readers and movie watchers and video game players, they can easily talk about tropes. I just discuss them and analyze them, and though I do give things like, you should write it like this, like, it's more of a, as a reader, I would like to see this, and I try not to give like craft writing videos. And the other type of writing video I do is weird writing tips, which is just weird little things that work for me, but also they aren't exclusive to novels, and they help me with short stories. And there haven't been that many of them, but they tend to either be like character stuff, planning stuff, or like scene level stuff. So yeah. But when it comes to starting a first draft, I will say I realized I have to outline, and I have to make it a limited outline for myself so I don't write forever. But also I've realized that there are two ways I feel when I start writing something. So one is when I'm passionate about the project, I really want to write it. Even if I don't have an outline, I ended up writing tons of pointless stuff I cut. I do feel motivated. It is fun. I enjoy it. That's the main reason I like writing, because I love crafting stories, and it's really fun, even if it goes nowhere. But the second one is mostly what I've experienced in school. I've never experienced this when writing for myself, because I wouldn't write something like this for myself, but it's when I don't have an idea for a story and I'm forcing myself to write something that I don't feel passionate about it. And then I hate the process, but I also hate the editing process. I just hate the story. I actively despise it. Like, no one will hate a story that I'm forced to write that I don't want to write more than me. So, yeah. Honestly, I would rather write an essay on toilets than be forced to write a short story that I'm not passionate about. Now, granted, if you give me a prompt, it would be easier, because it's like, oh, I'm writing for this prompt. But if it's something I have to create for myself, I don't like it. But again, when I write for myself, and what I'm doing now that I've graduated, I'm writing stories I want to write that I feel passionate about. So I'm hoping to recapture that enjoyment and fun that I had before I had to go on a writing hiatus. Number 3, roadblock. What is your number one obstacle that stops you from writing? There are two for me. One is me constantly deleting or rewriting scenes that I previously wrote because I hate them. And the second one is apathy. During school, I was very overwhelmed by schoolwork, farm work, and just going to classes, and I kind of just did that. I would go to class, I would do the minimal amount of effort for my homework, and then I would do all the farm work I was required to do. Like, I wouldn't do anything creative for fun. I wouldn't even hang out with people. I just wouldn't do anything. YouTube was my only creative outlet, which it was fun because I could make a video within a limited amount of time and post it, and it was done. Whereas when it comes to writing, it takes forever. So I needed something limited to do during school. But even then, I was kind of apathetic, and the more I was doing it, I was kind of like, no one cares. This is all pointless. So I need to work on that. And this sort of leads into question number 4, reflect. How can you overcome the obstacle? For the first obstacle, I realized I have to go into my stories with a plan. I need an outline, and I need it to be an outline that actually fits story structure and leads to a shorter story instead of something massively huge that would take years to finish a first draft. But I also have to think through the outline and the characters so I don't end up perpetually hating everything I write. Then for the second issue of apathy, I graduated, so I do hope that helps now that I'm not in school, which is something I really did not enjoy school. So I hope being out of that will help counteract my apathy. But also I find that confiding in people, especially about my writing, helps me motivate me more. Because I feel like when you're not doing something alone and you have friends and people to talk to, that really helps. Number 5, perfection. How can you challenge yourself to get past the perfectionism-procrastination trap? So I kind of just went over this, but first I'm gonna plan my stories. Second, I'm not gonna let myself go back and rewrite chapters. And third, I'm going to dedicate myself to finishing the first draft of my novel. Number 6, failure sucks. How can you grow from failure? I've literally failed at finishing every novel I started. So the way I'm gonna grow from that is to realize what didn't work for me and make changes so that that isn't an issue anymore. But also, I have to let go from those past experiences and move on from it. I'm not saying I'm not gonna write those same stories, but I'm gonna restart them from scratch, new outline, everything, and just keep the idea. Another way I feel I failed is the short stories I wrote this past semester for class. I absolutely hated them. And I had no passion to write them or when writing them. So the way I hope to grow and move on from this is to only write short stories when I'm passionate about them and when I have an idea that I actually want to write in short story form, because I want to love writing again. Number 7, rejection sucks too. How can you learn/grow from rejection? So I've never really had my work rejected because I've never really put myself out there. And I have had my work beta read by classmates, but it was either well received when it was the story I cared about, or I had criticism, but I didn't like the story in the first place. So I was like, well, you don't hate it as much as I do, so. But overall, I've never really put my work out there. So to change that, I'm actually gonna put my work out there, and maybe I'll be rejected and maybe I won't, but the point is I need to do that. And I really want to try to be an author instead of just a writer. Number 8, create action. How do you keep moving towards your goals? So I've said this before, but I've started vlogging my days as a way to sort of hold myself accountable, and I've also started confiding in others instead of isolating myself. And I really think confiding has helped. I'm not sure about the vlogging part though, because I just started, so we'll see how that goes. Number 9, new year, new outlook. If fear wasn't holding you back, what would you be doing right now to further your writing dreams? So even though it isn't the new year, I did just graduate from college, so it is kind of like a new stage in my life that is more significant than the year, which is in the middle of a school year. So if you go to school, it doesn't even feel like that much of a change. But anyway, I wouldn't really say fear is my obstacle as much as apathy. However, I do have one fear when it comes to writing, and that is the YA Twitter mob that attacks books that they deem offensive, or just similar things such as agents blacklisting you, or even just people beta reading for you or reading your book and thinking it's terrible and being like, oh, I reject you. And now I don't think my books promote offensive morals, but I do like to explore controversial ones, and I don't just like to depict things as black and white, and I also don't like to just have the moral that is accepted and just push that, just have the characters all the good guys believe the same thing and all the bad guys believe the bad thing, and the book is very clearly saying this is what you should think. I don't particularly like that. I prefer to explore controversial topics, or just explore every topic and have different characters believe different things. Maybe their opinions change and stuff, but the book isn't telling you what to think. The book is just showing you the different sides and letting the reader make the decision for themselves, because I feel like that respects their intelligence more, but I also find that more interesting and less preachy. But if you're writing a children's book, you shouldn't really do that. You should keep the morals simple and be like, don't steal, and depict that. But I write for older people, at least teenagers to adults. I would say, the older end of that. And so I expect people to be able to think through things, and it isn't like, and I don't think it's overly complicated. I just think that with a mob mentality, people could end up not liking what I write and not liking me. So I feel like writing these type of stories is a bit risky, but I've decided I'm just gonna write what I want to write, and then when it comes time to ask for beta readers or publish, and I'll deal with that when I come to that. Number 10, leap of faith. What is one thing you plan to do this year, even though it scares you? This video talking about these things that I usually don't talk about. I tend to focus my videos on the books and writing instead of myself and my own personal struggles and issues. I don't particularly like talking about myself, even to people I know in person, let alone the internet, who doesn't give a crap. So yeah, this is the thing that I am doing. I hope I don't come across as the worst person ever, but this is me. Now, I would say I'm showing all my worst parts, but that's not true. I'm not that open and honest. Just showing the ones related to writing and reading and this channel. I mean, I'm not saying like I kill people. I don't kill people. But anyway, those are my answers to this tag. I'm not going to tag anyone. I feel like this ended up being more of a confession than a tag. But if anyone wants to do this, they're open to. And I'll link their video below. I'll link their video below if they end up doing it because of this video. Because I'm glad that they were inspired to do this tag because of my video if they do, but I kind of doubt it. And I would really, really appreciate it if you commented down below. But yeah, a comment means a lot to me, even more than a subscription, because I'm pretty sure most of my subscribers don't watch my video. Actually, I'm 100% sure, because based on my view count, they don't all watch my videos. So yeah. Also, views don't mean as much to me because I'm pretty sure most of mine are like 3 seconds long, then everyone clicks off. So yeah, if you made it this far, please comment down below. You don't have to. I just would really like it. Anyway, thank you for watching this weird, confession-y, angsty video, and I'll see you later.